Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashranvannotibhisida Sadanam Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Dear friends, I think today we will be completing the last two shlokas of this chapter, that is the 14th chapter, because we completed the 25th shloka in the last class. 26th and 27th we will complete, and maybe we will also complete the say summary, because this adhyaya is a fairly small adhyaya, so the theme also is only one single theme, so that is why I think we will be able to complete this chapter today. We completed this 25th along with the Bhashyam in the last class. The context was about how to get over, how to transcend, how to go beyond these three gunas. So initially he asked three questions. Arjuna asked three questions. What are the indications of the person who has crossed these gunas? That is kair lingaihi. What are the linga? What is the linga? What are the indications? Then kim acharaha. What is the conduct? How does he conduct himself? So that is one. That is number two. And then katham chayetan ativartate. In what manner? What is the upaya? In what is the way in which he goes beyond? So he, of course, Lord Krishna, he also told about the type of perspective he is supposed to have. Nadveshti sampravartani nanivrtani kanshati. These are also indications, and this is also something which has to be practiced by a sadhaka. But apart from that, there is one means which is the highest means. So that he is going to say in the 26th shloka. We have seen that Bhakti Yoga is of great importance with respect to say this Jnana. In this chapter 12 also, Mam cha yogya bhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. So of course this bhakti yogena sevate, this shloka is here. In the 12th chapter also we got a shloka which talked about avyabhicharini bhakti. That is unswerving devotion. Devotion, not ignorant devotion, but jnana purvika bhakti. So that is what we saw. The adjective which is given by Shankaracharya, that is jnana purvika bhakti. That which has already been preceded by Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasana. So that sort of bhakti. So here again we are going to see the same thing. So let us see the shloka. Let us read. Mam chayo vyabhicharena Bhakti yogena sevate Sagunan samatityaitan Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Okay. Mam cha yaha avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Mam cha, and also. So here mam and cha is and. That is, he has told certain things earlier. But then the greatest means or the highest means is this Bhakti Yoga. So that is why he says, Mam yaha, the one who, yaha means the one who, avyabhicharena bhakti yogena. So with that Bhakti Yoga, with that unswerving Bhakti Yoga, undeviating Bhakti Yoga, with that thing, sevate. Sevate means one who follows me, one who not exactly worshipping in the physical sense of ritual worship which we do every day. That is upasate. We know the meaning of upasana, jnana purvaka upasana. So that sort of thing. So mam avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. And who is this mam? When say Lord Krishna, we know that whenever he says I, whenever he refers to himself, he is referring to himself as either Mayavachana Chaitanya or as Supreme Brahman. So here of course there is a slight say one commentator has written as Mayavachana Chaitanya, and another person says it is also possible that it can also refer to Saguna and Nirguna levels of Brahma. So let us take the view, this Mayavachana Chaitanya, this appears to be the rather more logical and more appropriate thing, because Shankaracharya also says the same thing, Mayavachana Chaitanya. And then Madhusudana Vyakhya also, he also says the same thing. Madhusudana Saraswati says, Mameva Ishwaram Narayanam Sarvabhutantaryaminam Mayaya Kshetrajnatam Agatam. Mayaya Kshetrajnatam Agatam. That is that Maya Vachana Chaitanya which is taking the form of a Kshetrajna. Kshetrajnatam Agatam. Paramananda Ghanam Bhagavantam Vasudevam. Again, you are putting the words like Paramananda Ghanam Bhagavantam Vasudevam. So, it is just shifting from Saguna to Nirguna, Saguna to Nirguna. It doesn't matter whatever meaning we take. But for our clarity, we can take the meaning as Maya Vachinna Chaitanyam, because Shankaracharya is also going to say that. Mamcha yaha avyabhicharena. So, when you are doing Upasana, you are doing Upasana of that Saguna Brahma. Saguna Brahma not in the form of some lower deity, but in the form of that supreme thing, but in the form of that supreme deity, which is just the Saguna manifestation, which is the supreme Brahma is there, which is the Nirvishesha Brahma, and then after that Nirvishesha Brahma, you have got that first manifestation. What is that Hiranyagarbha? You call that Hiranyagarbha as Vasudeva, you call Hiranyagarbha as Narayana, whatever you say, Ishvara, whatever you want. So that Mam is that Avyabhicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate. Then that is Parama Prema Rupa, Parama Prema, Paramarepa. We also know the definition of Bhakti. The Bhakti is Satu Asmin Parama Prema Rupa. You see, that is say Nishkama Bhakti. You are not worshipping that say Saguna Brahma with any desire. There is no desire. You are already, you have gone through this thing of Shravana Marana Nididhyasana. Prior to that, you have already gone through all that Chitta Shuddhi. All the karmas which are supposed to give you Chitta Shuddhi, they have already led you to that Chitta Shuddhi. From that Chitta Shuddhi, you have gone to the next level of Shravana Marana, etc. From there, at that stage, with that awareness, you are doing this Upasana. That is Jnana Purvika Bhakti Parama Prema Rupa. Just just as you love yourself, you are showing that love towards that Saguna form. So such a person, Saha Gunan Sam Atitya. Samatitya is Samyak Atitya. Sam Atitya. Sam is Samyak. Atitya means having crossed over, having gone beyond. Sam Gunan Etan. Sam Atitya. Gunan Sam Atitya Etan. Samatitya plus Etan is Samatitya Etan. Then Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Brahma Bhuyaya. Brahma Bhavanaya, in order to become Brahman. Kalpate. Kalpate means Samartho Bhavati. He becomes eligible, he becomes competent. Becomes competent. So this is the shloka. Sa Gunan Samatitya Etan. Samatitya, you have followed that second line? Yes. So that person, Gunan Samatitya, having transcended these three gunas, and once having transcended these three gunas, what is that? Because he has washed off all his, say, whatever is sticking onto him. This guna is something like a paste or something like a color. All these colors you have washed off. Then you are in your original shape as Shuddha Brahma. Gunan Samatitya Etan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. He becomes fit, he becomes competent to become Brahma. So that is the meaning. Let us read the Bhashyam. Adhuna Katham cha Triin Gunan Ativartate Iti prashnasya prativachanamaha. So this shloka is in reply to the question Katham cha Triin Gunan Ativartate. In what manner does he go beyond the three gunas? So that was the question. Tasya prashnasya prativachanamaha. That the prativachanam is the reply is being told. Mamcha iti. Then Mamcha Ishwaram Narayanam Sarvabhuta Hrudayashritam Yo Yatihi Karmiva Avyabhicharena Na Kadachit Yo Vyabhicharati Bhakti Yogena Bhajanam Bhaktihi Saiva Yogaha Tena Viveka Jnanatmakena Bhakti Yogena
Saiva yogaha tena bhakti yogena sevate sagunam
Viveka Jnanatmakena Bhakti Yogena
Viveka Jnanena Bhakti Yogena.
Okay, your book says slightly different. Okay, sevate Sagunan Samatitya Etan Yathoktan Brahma Bhutaya Brahma Bhuyaya Bhavanam Bhuyaha Brahma Bhuyaya Brahma Bhavanaya
Brahma bhuyaya Brahma bhavanaya
mokshaya kalpate samartho bhavati ityartha. So it is one sloka, one line, it is over. So now, Mam, what is this Mam? Shankaracharya says Ishwaram, Ishvara, Narayanam, Narayanam, Naranam, Ayanam. That is the Gamyasthanam, that is the destination for all the human beings. Then again he qualifies Sarva Bhuta Hrudayashritam. So this Hrudaya Guha, everybody's Buddhi Guha which is there, which is present as Pratyagatma. So this Pratyagatma, which is say this Vasudeva, say who is dwelling in the hearts of everyone as Pratyagatma. So this is again this Maya Vachana Chaitanya, Hrudayashritam. Then Yo Yetihi Karmiva. Here Yetihi Karmiva. These two alternatives both are included. Yetihi. Yetihi means sannyasi. A sannyasi who has totally renounced, who is in the path of renunciation. So that is Yeti. Karmiva. We are not referring to an ordinary karma yogi here. We are referring to a jnani karmi. We are also having this, say, the option of jnani karma, isn't it? So, like King Rama or King Janaka or even Lord Krishna, he is a jnani. In the last class also we had a big discussion about jnani, whether a jnani is, forbidden from doing all karmas. There is no question of jnani getting forbidden. There is a prarabdha karma. If there is a prarabdha karma, he will continue to do that. He will continue to do that in a very more efficient way, like Krishna or Rama. So, like that, karmiva. Karmi here refers to jnani karmi, like King Janaka or King Rama. Karmiva, yatihi karmiva, avyabhicharena. Avyabhichara, this word we know. Na kadachit yaha vyabhicharati. Sa yoga. That is na kadachit. Na kadachit means never. Kadachit means at some point of time. Na kadachit means never. Yaha vyabhicharati. That which does not deviate. Yaha na vyabhicharati. That which does not deviate. That sort of bhakti yogena. That sort of bhakti yoga. Then what is this bhakti? Bhajanam bhaktihi. Bhajanam. Parama prema rupa. That is extreme love. That is, just as you love your own Atma, you are loving that, Ishvara. So that is that Paramarupa. Saiva yogaha, Saeva yogaha. That sort of yoga, that sort of bhakti. Tena. Here comes the important point. Viveka jnanatmakena bhakti yogena. So your book says, what does your book say? Viveka?
Tena bhakti yogena.
Viveka?
There is no Viveka.
Oh, there is no. Acha. Oh, this word is missing in your book. Viveka jnanatmakena bhakti yogena. This is the Anandagiri's version. The version which is taken by Anandagiri is this Viveka jnanena bhakti yogena. Viveka jnanatmakena bhakti yogena. That is bhakti yoga which is of the nature of Viveka jnanam. Jnanatmaka. Jnanatmaka means the very self of that bhakti is jnanam. Atma is self. Jnanatmaka means the very nature of the very nature of bhakti is the very nature or the very self of bhakti is jnanam. Viveka jnana. And what type of jnanam? Viveka jnanam. Viveka is discrimination. That is Atma, Anatma, Viveka. So with that Atma, Anatma, Viveka jnana, with that state of awareness, you are loving that God. So that is it. Viveka jnanatmakena bhakti yogena sevate. Sevate means continuously he is in that frame of mind. Sevate means not doing pushpams and phalam, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, etc., etc. You should be constantly in that state of mind in order to, say, internalize that thing. Because you see, this awareness, Brahman awareness, is something which happens. Okay, the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, it slowly it goes on and it goes on. Then you have to be in that state of awareness for a long, long time in order to see that you really get into the shoes of that Brahman, or you really realize that you are that Brahman. Till that time, you are still in a doubt. We are still in a doubt whether we are really Brahman or not. So that sort of say predicament will be there. So sevate, you are continuously doing that in that frame of mind. Sevate. So that sort of person. Sa gunan samatitya etan yathoktan. So that person having transcended samatitya, having crossed over. Samatitya actually means having crossed over these gunas which have been told. Then Brahma bhuyaya. Bhuya. Bhuya means bhavanam. Bhavanam means becoming. Becoming. Bhavanam is not a building. Bhavanam means becoming. So Brahma Bhuyaya means for becoming Brahman. Kalpate. Brahma Bhavanaya means what is it? Becoming Brahma means moksha. That is liberation. Liberation from all these types of bonds, and bonds or sangha or attachment which is caused by these three gunas. It is these three gunas which bind a person. Moksha means you are getting released from all these bonds. So that is that moksha. Mokshaya kalpate samartho bhavati. So he becomes eligible, he becomes competent for that. Then kutaha etad ityuchyate.
Kutaha etad ityuchyate.
How? Well, how is it? How that reason is being told. Kutaha etad. How is it? How is it Brahma Bhavanaya? Why is it Brahma Bhavanaya? So that hetu, that reason is being told here. Then let us see the shloka. Brahmano hi pratisthaham.
Brahmano hi pratisthaham.
Amrutasya vyayasya cha.
Amrutasya vyayasya cha.
Shashvatasya cha dharmasya.
Shashvatasya cha dharmasya.
Sukhasya cha.
Sukhasya cha.
Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Prakriti Purusha Viveka Sorry, this book, there is again a print mistake here. Prakriti Purusha Viveka is gone last class, last adhyaya. It is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. So unfortunately there is a print mistake here. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga Nama Chaturdashodhyaya. This is supposed to be a standard edition of these Chaukamba people with about 8 tikas. But unfortunately here there is a typographical error. Anyway, Brahmano hi pratisthaham. So here again, so I will give you the first literal meaning. Brahmanaha aham pratistha. Brahmanaha is, what is Brahmanaha? It is Shashti Vibhakti. Of Brahman. Of Brahma or Brahman, whatever it is. Of Brahma. Brahmanaha. He means yasmat, because he is giving the hetu. Why is it say sagunanatitya? How is it? So that reason is being told. Aham pratishtha. I am the pratishtha for that Brahma. So what is the meaning of pratishtha? I will tell you. Pratishtha. Then amrutasya avyayasya cha. This amrutasya, avyayasya, shashvatasya, dharmasya, sukhasya, ekantikasya, all these things are all adjectives for Brahma. So Brahmanaha amrutasya Brahmanaha, avyayasya Brahmanaha, shashvatasya Brahmanaha. So thus dharma rupasya Brahmanaha. So all these things, sukha rupasya Brahmanaha. So all these things are adjectives for that Brahma. So what is this Brahma? Here again, there are, both, Shankaracharya himself gives both the meanings. That is both Saguna Brahma, point of view and also Nirguna Brahma point of view. So, if you are talking, from the point of view of Saguna Brahma, so Saguna Brahma is a sort of manifesting medium. Or Saguna Brahma or Pratyagatma, let us say Saguna Brahma which is there in the human beings as Pratyagatma. Not only human beings, in all beings. We are forgetting ants. So Saguna Brahma which is there in all the beings as Pratyagatma, that is actually the abode. That is the place where that Brahman is manifesting, isn't it? Brahman is manifesting not directly, Brahman is manifesting through all these things, beings only, Pratibodha Viditam, isn't it? So Brahman is manifesting in all these things, it is the manifesting medium or it is the abode, isn't it? So that this meaning of Pratishtha here is Pratyagatma. You can note down the meaning of Pratyagatma, one meaning of the first meaning of Pratishtha is Pratyagatma. Upadhi, you can also write Upadhi. Shankarananda, another commentator, writes Upadhi. So it is the Upadhi. So for that Supreme Brahman, I the Saguna Brahma, I am the Upadhi in the form of this Pratyagatma, in the form of this Jiva, the Pratyagatma, this Antahkaranavachana Chaitanyam, you call whatever you may want to say. Ultimately, all this is Chaitanyam only. So, from that point of view, for that Nirguna Brahma, I am the Pratyagatma, I am the Pratishtha, I am the manifesting medium, or I am the abode, I am the Upadhi. So, that is one meaning. In fact, you can write down also, because this shloka, it can confuse you, because I read different types of bhashyams in order to understand it properly. So you can write down, the first meaning is I, this Brahmanaha Pratishtha Aham. So for the first meaning of Aham is I the Pratyagatma, I am the Pratishtha, within brackets, manifesting medium or Upadhi or abode, manifesting medium or Upadhi or abode, for that Nirguna Brahma. So Brahmanaha, the meaning here is Nirguna Brahma, for that Nirguna Brahma. So for that Nirguna Brahma, Aham the Pratyagatma, I am that manifesting, say medium or abode or Upadhi, where that Brahman is manifest. So that is one meaning. Then another meaning is, for Saguna Brahma, who is the foundation or who is the substratum? What is the substratum? For all this whole world or for all the beings, what is the substratum? The substratum is Nirguna Brahma, isn't it? So from Saguna Brahma point of view, if you say Brahma, you say this for Saguna Brahma. The second meaning is, for Saguna Brahma, I the Nirvishesha Brahma. So here I is the Nirvishesha Brahma. I is the Nirvishesha Brahma here. In the first option, I is the Pratyagatma Savishesha Brahma. So here I is the Nirvishesha Brahma. I am the Ashraya. I am the substratum. So these two meanings, both the meanings are given by Shankaracharya. Then of course Madhusudana Saraswati also writes somewhat similar. I will not read all that because that may confuse you. Because he says this Tatpada Vachyam Sopadhika Brahma Tatpada Lakshyartham Nirupadhika Brahma. The same thing. Of course we can give these interpretations without contradicting the main doctrine of Advaita. Without disputing or without confusing the main doctrine of Advaita, we can give these interpretations. This Mam, Aham, so for all these things. So these two are the ways in which you can say. So for that Nirguna Brahma, when you say that Brahmanaha means, if you say about that Nirguna Brahma, of that Nirguna Brahma or for that Nirguna Brahma, I the Pratyagatma, I am that manifesting medium or I am that Upadhi where it is seen. Or if you want to say, Saguna Brahma, for Brahma, if you want to say Saguna Brahma, for this Saguna Brahma, I am this Adhara, I am the Ashraya, I am the substratum. So that is the meaning. So then all these adjectives of course will fit into place. Brahmanaha hi pratishtaham amrutasya avyayasya cha amrutasya. So amrutasya means that which is immortal, avyaya, that which is again something which is undiminishing, unchanging, avyaya, avikari. Then shashvata is eternal, of that eternal. And then dharmasya, dharma, of course here Shankaracharya is using the word Jnana. For this word dharma, Shankaracharya is using Jnana Yoga Dharma Prapyasya, Jnana Yoga. So he says dharma is nothing but Jnana Yoga, he says. Then sukhasya ekantikasya cha. This ekantika, we know, ekantika means something which is guaranteed, unfailing. Something which is unfailing. Ekantika sukham. You see, if you are, whatever pleasure we get in with various worldly acquisitions, they come and go. Today you acquire a new thing and then you are happy for some time. Then after say some time, the same thing which has given you happiness earlier, it will give you unhappiness. So sukha from material things is something which comes and goes. Agama payanaha. This awareness, this Brahman awareness is the only sukha which is unfailing, which never diminishes, which is always there. So that is the meaning of ekantika sukham. So sukhasya ekantikasya cha, of that unfailing, unconditional sukha. Vishaya sukha is something which is conditional. It is dependent on something which you acquire. So it again gives you dukkha also. But whereas this awareness, this Brahman awareness is something which is always, which keeps you in that state of say purnatva. Once you are purna, there is no question of any say deficiency in you. When there is no deficiency in you, you are always happy. So that is the meaning. So shall we read the bhashyam?
Yes.
Kidrushasya, okay. Brahmanaha Paramatmanah Hi Yasmat Pratishtha Aham Pratitishthati Asminniti Pratishtha Aham Pratyagatma. So he is giving the first meaning, that is Brahmanaha. So he is giving the meaning as Nirguna Brahma first. That is of that Nirguna Brahma. Param Brahmanaha means of that Paramatma. He Yasmat, that is the reason. Then Aham Pratishtha. Pratishtha, the meaning given for Pratishtha is Pratitishthati Asmin iti Pratishtha. That which is dwelling in this Pratitishthati. Pratitishthati means something which is established, something which is manifest, something which is established in something is Pratitishthati, isn't it? Pratitishthati Asmin iti Pratishtha. This Brahman is established, or this Brahman is established in this Hrudaya Guha. In this Hrudaya Guha or Buddhi Guha, this Brahman is established in the form of the Chit, say that Jiva. So Brahman is the Pratishtha Aham Pratyagatma, that inner self. Pratyagatma, we know the word inner self. So that as Jiva, I am the Pratishtha of this thing. Then Kidrushasya Brahmanaha Amrutasya Avinashinaha Avyayasya Avikarinaha Shashvatasya cha Nityasya Dharmasya. Okay, Jnana Yoga Dharma Prapyasya Sukhasya Ananda Rupasya Aikantikasya Avyabhicharinaha. Okay, so here you see all these adjectives which we have seen, Amrutasya, Avinashinaha, Avyaya, Avikari, all these things, they have also been told to Jiva. In second chapter, say we have seen Veda Vinashanam Nityam Yayenam Ajamavyayam Katham Sapurushah Partha, all the adjectives called Avinashi, Avyaya, Avikari, Shashvata, all these things, Dehi, Nityam, Avadhyoyam, Shashvataha, all these words, they were all used for Dehi. So this here, this Jiva who is also Amruta, who is also Avinashi, who is also Avyaya, who is Avikari, who is Shashvata, for this Jiva who can be called all these things, I am the Pratishtha. I am, this first meaning is that I Pratyagatma. I am that Pratishtha. I am the manifesting Upadhi for that Supreme Brahman. So that is the thing. So Kidrushasya Brahmanaha Amrutasya, Amruta immortal, Avinashinaha, Amrutasya Avinashinaha. Then Avyayasya Avikarinaha, that which is not going to undergo any change. So that is what is called Avikari. Then Shashvatasya, Shashvata means Nitya, that which is eternal. Then Dharmasya Jnana Yoga Dharma Prapyasya. This Dharma is which is the outcome of this Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga Dharma Prapyasya. That which is the outcome of this Jnana Yoga is called Dharma here. Dharmasya. Then Sukhasya Ananda Rupasya Aikantikasya Avyabhicharinaha. That is Avyabhicharinaha, that which is unswerving, undeviating, that sort of bhakti. So of that thing, I am that unfailing bhakti, I am that Pratishtha. So that is the meaning here. Is it clear?
Yes.
Kidrushasya Brahmanaha Pratishtha. So of this type of Brahma, I am the Pratishtha. This Pratyagatma is the Pratishtha. Then Amrutadi Swabhavasya Paramatmanaha Pratyagatma Pratishtha Samyak Jnanena Paramatmataya Nishchiyate. So you see this Amrutadi Swabhavasya Paramatmanaha Pratyagatma Pratishtha. This Pratyagatma, which is the inner self, it is the abode for Pratishtha. Let us take it as Upadhi or abode. Abode for what? For that Paramatma who is of that Amrutadi Swabhava. Amrutadi means you have to add all these adjectives, Amruta, Shashvata, then Avyaya, all these things you add. So for that Paramatma who is qualified as all these things, this Pratyagatma is the Upadhi. For that Supreme Brahman which is qualified as Avyaya, Amruta, Shashvata, Nitya, etc., etc., this Pratyagatma is the Upadhi. Then he says, Pratyagatma Pratishtha, Samyak Jnanena Paramatmataya Nishchiyate. So, by proper awareness, Samyak Jnanena, by the right understanding, Paramatmataya Nishchiyate, you are realizing, Nishchiyate, he is confirmed, Nishchaya is confirmation, isn't it? Nishchiyate means definitely known, it is perfectly realized that as Paramatma itself. This Pratyagatma is realized as Paramatma after proper awareness, after the right understanding, after Samyak Jnana, the same Pratyagatma is realized as Paramatma. So that is the meaning here. So in that Avidya Dasha, there is a Bheda Vyavahara. Avidya Dasha means in that ignorance, at the level of ignorance, at the stage of ignorance, this Pratyagatma is different and Paramatma is different. When you come to that Vidya Dasha, this Pratyagatma and Paramatma, this Bheda Vyavahara, this difference disappears. So that is the meaning here. So that meaning, difference between this Pratyagatma and Paramatma disappears by Samyak Jnana. Then, Tadetad Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate Ityuktam.
Tadetad Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate Ityuktam.
Tadetad, the same thing is being told by the words Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate means he is becoming Brahma. But is Samyak Jnanena, he is becoming Brahma when all these gunas, all the painting which is there on the body, all that thing goes. Then Yayacha Ishvara Shaktya Bhaktanugrahadi Prayojanaya Brahma Pratisthate Pravartate Sa Shaktihi Brahmaiva Aham Shakti Shaktimatoho Ananyatvad Ityabhiprayah. There is a saying, general saying in Vedanta, that is Shakti Shaktimator Abhedaha. Shakti. So you see, this Parabrahma is say having that capacity to manifest. So that Shakti is there. Brahma is say manifesting in all this medium. Then Shakti and Shaktimatoho Abhedaha. Shaktimat means Shaktiman. Sorry, Shaktimatoho is Shashti for Shaktiman. Shaktiman is one who is having that Shakti. And then that Shakti, the Shakti itself, there is no Bheda, there is no difference. You can't distinguish between the one who is having, say, this Shakti and Shakti itself. So a great Pahilwan comes. You can't distinguish the Pahilwan from his strength, or rather you can't distinguish his strength from that Pahilwan. So like that, Shakti, Shaktimatoho, Abhedaha. So, Eyacha Ishvara Shaktya Bhaktanugrahadi Prayojanaya Brahma Pratisthate Pravartate. So this Brahma, this Saguna Brahma Pravartate means he manifests himself. Pravartate, Pratisthate Pravartate. That is Pratishtha, you have seen it as Upadhi, isn't it? Pratisthate Pravartate means he appears in the form of all these Upadhis. For what? Bhaktanugrahadi Prayojanaya. In order to say Bhakta Anugraha. Bhakta Anugraha means to enlighten the Bhaktas or to enable the Bhaktas, not even enlighten. Bhakta Anugraha is not enlightening. That is enabling the Bhaktas to realize themselves. That is enabling the Bhaktas to realize themselves. Anugraha, Anugraha is say compassion. Say the Lord is enabling you, he is doing you a favor by enabling you to realize Brahma. So Bhaktanugrahadi Prayojanaya Brahma Pratisthate Pravartate Sa Shaktihi Brahmaiva Aham. I Vasudeva. This is that first sentence. This I is that we were talking from the point of view of say Saguna Brahma. I, that Saguna Shaktihi Brahmaiva Aham. I am that Shakti. Shakti Shaktimatohu Ananyatvad Ityabhiprayah. Because you can't distinguish that Shakti from that Shaktimat. I, which is that Shakti, I which is that Shakti, I am manifesting in all these forms just in order to, for Bhaktanugrahaya, in order to help the Jivas to realize themselves. Then Athava, he is giving the other option. Like I said, say for Saguna Brahma, I am the substratum. Athava, Brahma Shabdavachyatvat, Savikalpakam Brahma, Tasya Brahmanaha, Nirvikalpakaha Ahameva, Na Anyaha Pratishtha Ashrayaha. So you see, let us see this. Athava, or else, Brahma Shabda Vachyatvat, because that word Brahma has been used, Brahma Shabda Vachyatvat, Savikalpakam Brahma. So you can also take Savikalpakam Brahma. You can also take it to may refer to Savikalpakam Brahma. Savikalpaka means, you know what is a Vikalpa? Vikalpa means an alternative. Nirvikalpa means there is no Vishesha. Vikalpa is a Vishesha. Savishesha Brahma, Saguna Brahma. You can note it as Saguna Brahma. The Brahman with characteristics, Brahman which is delimited, Brahman which is conditional Brahma, conditioned Brahma. One is the unconditioned Brahma, the other is conditioned Brahma, isn't it?
Yes.
So this Saguna Savikalpakam means that which is having a Vikalpa, that which is having a Vishesha, that which is a conditioned Brahma. In other words, Saguna Brahma. So Brahma Shabda Vachyatva Savikalpakam Brahma. And Tasya Brahmana, of that Brahma, Nirvikalpaka Ahameva Pratishtha. For this Aham, he is giving the word as Nirvikalpa, Nirvishesha Brahma, or the Supreme Brahma. Nirvikalpaka Ahameva means Nirvikalpaka is Nirvishesha, Nirguna, Nirvishesha, Nirguna, that Supreme Brahman. I am that. Pratishtha means Ashrayaha. Ashrayaha means the substratum for that Savikalpaka Brahma. Then Kim Visishtasya, let us read. Kim Visishtasya, Amrutasya, Amarana Dharmakasya, Avyayasya, Vyayarahitasya, Kincha Shashvatasya cha Nityasya, Dharmasya, Jnana Nishtha Lakshanasya, Sukhasya, Tajjanitasya, Aikantika Niyatasya, Cha Pratishtha Aham iti vartate. Okay. So Kim Visishtasya, all these adjectives of course fall in place. Adjectives are used for Paramatma also. Adjectives are also used, applicable for this Jiva also, Pratyekatma also. Just as Paramatma is Avyaya, Shashvata, Nitya, etc., etc., this Jiva also is Avyaya, Shashvata, Nitya, etc., etc. So that is why all these adjectives, initially they were used for that Brahma, now they are being used for that Jiva. Initially, when you say that, when you initially refer to that Supreme Brahman, you are referring, giving all these adjectives to that Supreme Brahman. No, so now when you are referring to that Jiva, of that Jiva, I am that Pratishtha, or of that Saguna Brahma, I am the Pratishtha. Whatever is applicable to Saguna Brahma is also applicable to Jiva. So all these adjectives, they are also applicable to Jiva, they are applicable to Saguna Brahma, they are applicable to Nirguna Brahma. That is Lakshyartha. That is what Madhusudana Saraswati calls Tatpada Vachyartha and Tatpada Lakshyartha. You see, this Lakshyartha, when you say Tattvamasi, what is it you are equating? The Tvampada Lakshyartha and Tatpada Lakshyartha. So this Tatpada is Shuddha Chaitanya. This Tvampada Lakshyartha. Lakshyartha is what? Shuddha Chaitanyam only. Shuddha Chaitanyam, which is of the nature of Shashvata, Avyaya, Nitya and all these things. So when all these adjectives, they are applicable both for Paramatma and also for Jiva. Of that, of such a, Nirguna Brahma, Saguna Brahma, I am the Pratishtha, I am the Adhara, I am the Ashraya. Ashraya, or in other words, the substratum of that Nirguna, Saguna Brahma. So, iti Srivat Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Pujyapada, Srimad Acharya Sri Shankara Bhagavata Kutau, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Bhashya, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga Nama Chaturdashodhyaya. Here it is rightly printed, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. So, now here we have completed the 14th chapter. I think we still have about 20-25 minutes. Of course, for this chapter, summary may not take that long. So we can also just have a brief review of what we saw in this chapter. So in this chapter we have seen the first thing we noted was about what exactly is the nature of these three gunas. The nature of these three gunas, when we first saw, it is not something which is dravya shrita guna. So when you go to a Tarkika, And when you use a word, when you use an expression called a red rose, this redness is something which is the property of that. So it is not like that, it is not a property or anything like that, and it is not also a dravya. You see, Maya is something which is avyakta. It is something which is beyond, it is also indriyatita. It is indriyatita, it is beyond the senses. These gunas are also, they are again indriyatita. Gunas are also not something, they are not exactly physical substances. It is qualitative in nature, but not quantitative or physical in nature. So that is the first thing which we saw. These three gunas, they are the very swarupa of that prakriti. These three gunas are the very swarupa of that prakriti, and they are not something which is something like some mixture. You get a mixture where some three types of constituents are there, three types of chemicals. They are going to form this prakriti. It is not some chemical like substances which are there. So this is actually the very, very difficult point in order to understand, because say when you are describing this srushti, when you are describing that something from consciousness has say manifested, the consciousness is manifesting as matter, you require some sort of interface, you require some sort of medium, you require some manner, you have to explain some way in which that consciousness is appearing as matter, isn't it? So for that, this guna or maya is the interface. Maya is of the nature of the three gunas. The very nature of maya is these three gunas, and through these three gunas it is just appearing as so many substances. So that is what we have seen. So this is the most delicate point as to in order to understand. Say we see various physical objects. So are these physical objects really there or not? So that is the basic question. And in all these physical objects there are these three gunas. In all these three physical objects, whatever is there on earth, it is a product of these three gunas. Whether it is a human being, or whether it is an animal, whether it is an ant, whether it is a plant, whether it is something which is supposed to be something what we call insentient. In all these insentient things also there is a combination of these three gunas. So that is why in Ayurveda we talk about, so this particular food or this particular item, it produces rajoguna. Another particular item, it produces sattva guna. Another particular item, it causes dullness. So all these things, these gunas we talk about. So these gunas are there in sentient, insentient, in everything. And these gunas are not like some chemicals. So this is what we have seen. So this is some sort of say in what way it has manifested. It is something which is indescribable. So that is why we say it is something which is anirvachaniya. Maya is something which is anirvachaniya. Whether it exists or not, we cannot say, but we are all experiencing it. So that is what is the first point we have seen. The first point we have seen is this is qualitative in nature and not physical substances. Then it is a sort of interface between this consciousness and the physical world we see, physical world including us, and then including all types of beings which we see. Then we also see incidentally that there is no active involvement of a personal God in this thing called creation. So we have seen even in the earlier chapters and also here, this sattvam, rajas, tama iti gunaha prakriti sambhavaha. And then these things, they nibadhanati, they bind, and all these things, we will come to that later. But prior to that, we have also seen that there is what is called this srushti. In this srushti, is there any active involvement of a personal God? There is nobody sitting there in this, suddenly appearing in the sky and then saying, yes, I am doing this srushti or something like that. So there is no involvement of a personal God or anything. It is just a manifestation. It is just a manifestation in that prakriti. Isn't it? Yes. So even in that 13th chapter also, we saw the same thing. That we say there that kshetrajna thing also, prakritim purusham jaiva vidya anadi ubhavapi. Prakriti and Purusha, they are both anadi. And then there the Purvapakshi says, if you say that prakriti is also anadi, then what will happen to God? You are inferring that God is not the creator. So we are prepared to accept the point that God has no active role in creation. God has no active role in creation. It is a manifestation in that prakriti. But then we are giving some name called God or Brahma to that process. So to that process called, say, that appearance, you are calling it Brahma. that whatever has come into existence again, it is getting dissolved. Then it is staying for some time and getting dissolved. So we are calling them Srushti, Sthiti, Laya. We have given some names, etc., etc. So when you read the 13th chapter and also the 14th chapter, we see that there is no active involvement of any somebody we called a personal God who is staying there and then, yes, I am doing this creation, etc., etc. And this is a sort of evolution which has taken place. So this is the whole thing is a sort of process which takes place in that Hiranyagarbha Brahma. Then gunas. Also, we have seen that these gunas, they tend to impact on each other. Let us also read the verses. So, as we see, the first two shlokas are by way of introduction and extolling the Jnanam. Then this third, fourth, and fifth, they talk about the origin. That is Mamayonir Mahad Brahma. This Mahad Brahma is Maya or Trigunatmika. This Maya or Trigunatmika is my Yoni, my Pravesha Sthanam. So this is how, or this is the medium through which I appear, I manifest. So that is what we saw. Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham. Garbham of whom? That Hiranyagarbha. That Prathama Jiva. I am giving that, say that Garbham, or I am the cause for that. Then the next shloka says, Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Bhumurtaya Sambhavantiya Hatasam Brahma Mahadyonihi. So this Mahad Brahma is the Yoni, or Mahad Brahma is the Karanam for all the beings. So there is a sort of, say this Brahma, the Supreme Brahman, in which this Hiranyagarbha Brahma manifests through this medium called Brahma, say Maya. Then what is this Maya? Sattvam Rajas Tama iti guna Prakriti Sambhavaha. This is Prakriti Sambhavaha means does not mean born out of Prakriti. Prakriti Parinamaha. So the Sattva, Raja, say Tama, these are the Prakriti Parinamaha. These are the very nature of that Prakriti we read. And then that, say they impact on each other and then create this diversity which we have seen on the earth. And then we have seen in what manner this Sattva Guna manifests, in what manner this Rajoguna manifests, and in what manner and what are the indications or what are the lingas for this Tamoguna. So we have seen that these three gunas, they tend to impact each other. So sometimes Sattva Guna comes to predominance, sometimes Rajoguna comes to predominance having subdued the other two gunas, sometimes this Tamoguna comes to predominant having subdued the other two gunas. So that is one point which we saw. Then after explaining the impact or the effect of these three gunas in us, then how is it, how do you recognize person who is having Sattva Guna? How do you recognize having a person who is having Tamoguna or Rajoguna? So they are told from shlokas 14, 15, 16, etc. 10, 11, 12, etc. That is 10th shloka talks, 11th shloka talks about Sarvadvareshu Dehesmin Prakasha Upajayate. When, say, Prakasha, this word also we saw. Prakasha is the ability to attain knowledge. Prakasha is that clarity of mind. Prakasha is that Chitta Shuddhi. So when you find that Chitta Shuddhi and the clarity, and then when you see that sort of spark in a person, that Avarana Virodhi also we saw. That is ability to drive away, ability to dispel darkness or ignorance. So when you see that, then you can recognize that person is characterized by Sattva. Then somebody who is having this Lobha, Pravrittihi, Arambha, Lobha, that unwillingness to give anything, Tyaga, Asahishnuta, just not giving anything and always trying to be acquisitive. Then Pravrittihi, always engaged in activity, always engaged in some sort of endeavor. Then always untiring, say the sort of pursuit of work, workaholic, let us say. So all these things, they are the symptoms of this Rajoguna. They are the effects of Rajoguna. Then in contrast, we have seen the effect of Tamoguna, Pramada, Moha, that is Karya Viveka Rahityam, that is foolishness, ignorance and all these things. So then again subsequently the Adhyaya talked about what exactly happens after these people, after the fall of the body. So after the fall of the body, the person who is predominantly sattva guna, he goes to some deva yoni. A mixed, say a person who is having this mixture of this sattva and rajas also, he comes to this karma sangishu jayate. So he again is born in this world, again he is doing all these physical pursuits, etc. Then tatha pralinas tamasi, a person who dies in that mode of tamas. So mudha yonishu jayate, pashvadu yonishu jayate, he takes birth in all, he takes say birth in lower type of wombs. Mudha yonishu, lower type of wombs means like animals, different types of animals, etc. Then say the 19th shloka talks about the way in which a person can come out of these, say these three gunas. It says, na anyam gunebhyah kartaram yada drashtanupashyati. So you have to cultivate an attitude, you have to cultivate a vision that, or you have to, not exactly cultivating, cultivating is at the level of sadhaka. Then a person who has done this Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, he comes to that realization. Cultivation is one thing and realization is another. Cultivation is consciously you are trying to cultivate it. Realization is by way of proper understanding, by way of samyak jnana. By way of proper understanding, you have to realize that these gunas are the karta. The self is not the karta. The self is not the karta, but all these gunas are the karta. So the person has to come to that realization. Once he comes to that sort of realization, so gunebhyascha param vetti, madbhavam sodhigachyati. So he comes to that level. Then he also says, Lord Krishna also says, having gone beyond these three gunas like this, then he becomes a jivan mukta, janma mrityu jara dukkhaihi, vimuktaha amrutamashnute. Vimuktaha here refers to a jivan mukta. So this is shloka 20th shloka, and also 19th and 20th, these two shlokas, they talk of a jivan mukta. Then comes the question of Arjuna. Kair lingai hitrin gunanetan. What are the indications, say by which you can see these people, you can detect these people, and then how do they conduct themselves? Not about the people who are affected by sattva rajas tamo guna, the people who have gone beyond. By what indications can we notice the person who has gone beyond the three gunas? And then how does he conduct himself? A person, a gunatita, how does he conduct himself? And we also saw that what Krishna means by this gunatita here is the same as what he talked about sthita prajna, what he talked about a jnani in some other chapter, what he talked about say a jnani in the 13th chapter, and also jnani bhakta, which was talked about in 12th chapter. So all these things, they have got the similarities. They are all one and the same. They are all jnanis who have gone beyond, say this, three gunas. So here, from this 22nd to 25th, so he explains, Lord Krishna explains the way in which this gunatita conducts himself. Then udasina vadasinaha. And in fact, in the last class, we had a fairly long discussion about this udasina vadasinaha, about how a jnani conducts himself. A jnani, is he totally supposed to be a recluse, or is he also allowed to do some prarabdha karma? And I read out the commentary by Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi, wherein he has quoted elaborately from this Vidyaranyas Panchadashi. Vidyaranyas Panchadashi, 6th Adhyaya, Shlokas 260 to 275 he has quoted, wherein he talked about what is the meaning of that udasina vat. In fact, Vidyaranya has very clearly referred to that vat shabda also. And he also said that actions in the case of jnani, that is, or in the case of people like Rama, Krishna and say Janaka, they are not forbidden. They are having a prarabdha karma, they will do their prarabdha karma. And Shankaracharya's case also, Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi specifically said, when Shankaracharya was arguing with Buddhists, or he was having debates with the Buddhist Tarkikas and all that, you can't say that he was not a jnani. He was a jnani. By being a jnani, he was doing all that. So that is what we read in this Udasina Vadasina Bhashyam. Then Manapamanoyos Tulyaha Mitrari Pakshayo, all these things we saw. So the basic point here is the Jiva is essentially, number one, Jiva is essentially Brahma. If Jiva were not to be of the same nature of Brahma, he would never become equal. He would never become equal. A dog and a human being cannot become equal suddenly. Just a very crude example rather. So a Jiva cannot become Brahma unless he is already having that, and unless by ignorance he has forgotten it. So because of Ajnana he has forgotten, and this liberation is, what is the liberation? The liberation is to get liberated from the influence, from the realm of these three gunas, from the realm of that ignorance, getting liberated from that, from the the influence of that ignorance. So that is what is liberation. Then, and one has to make an effort for that. One has to make an effort for that. He has to develop a special view. And what is that special view? He has to distance himself from all the activities of these three gunas. He has to distance himself means he has to, as a sakshi or an observer, he has to stay above, and then he has to watch these three gunas. Again, we have caution, I said, it does not mean that a gunatita can indulge in all types of activities. He will never indulge, because he has already, his ego is already gone. You see, a hypocrite, he has an ego. A hypocrite can say, okay, I am a jnani, I am supervising, I am seeing my activities like a gunatita, etc. But when he says I, that I is very much there in a hypocrite. But in the case of a gunatita, his I is no longer there. So his ego, that aham, is no longer there. So that means he will, and he is also a person who is disciplined, who has come in through the channel of that Chitta Shuddhi, and after that Chitta Shuddhi only he has gone through this Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, and he has come to that level of awareness. Then then again the 26th shloka talks about this Bhakti Yoga. 26th shloka talks about this Bhakti Yoga, the shloka which we read in this particular class, that is Jnana Purvika Bhakti. Then Saguna Brahma or Upasana of a Saguna Brahma will lead to that Nirguna status. So these two shlokas we just discussed in great detail in this class. So this 27th shloka about this Brahma, the two meanings of Brahma, both ways you can apply, because both ways you are not contradicting the doctrine as such. So this is what we see in this chapter. The most important point to see is about the nature of these gunas. What exactly is the nature of these gunas? They are not to be taken as something like a mixture, some chemical compound in which some 2-3 points are there. So this is a sort of interface. This is a sort of interface or sort of manifesting medium through which that Supreme Brahman is manifesting as the universe. So this is what we saw in this particular chapter. So we'll close here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.